So in the next 10 minutes, we'll have a fantastic speaker, Pradyut. He's with Netcore. He's a product evangelist with Netcore and a senior growth marketer. If you can carry the conversations a little beyond the room, that would be a tribute to the person who's stepping up. Okay, Pradyut, why don't you come up and enlighten us in terms of how AI-led personalization for e-commerce can scale a 10x growth.
Thanks so much.
And if you could give us some time back, that'll be great.
That's the second time I'm hearing that in the span of 2 months. And I always end up with the session right before lunch. But I promise you, I'm also going to give you these next 20 minutes of solid food for thought. So without further ado, welcome to begin with. Thank you so much for having me, the organizers, and also being a part of this August crowd. All right, so my topic for today is how e-commerce businesses can leverage the power of artificial intelligence to actually drive higher conversions, user engagement, and retention. And it's all with the power of personalization. Before I begin, a little bit about what Netcore does. Netcore is a 22-year-old company that's been a pioneer in the MarTech space. I currently head product marketing at Netcore's flagship marketing automation platform, which is Sematic. And to break it down and tell you what Sematic does in the most simplest terms, you need to remember it has 3 aspects. It's a SaaS product, it's a software, and what it does, it provides is a 360-degree holistic view of individual users, essentially providing you a complete bird's eye view of their demographic, geographic, behavioral aspects on a unified platform. Furthermore, what it does is it also helps you slice and dice data moving forward, which means that you can actually dynamically create segments of users based on various attributes and activities that they perform across websites and mobile apps. And finally, you can figure out what are the best channels of engagement. And with a plethora of channels available to a marketer today, it's extremely important to identify what channel can be optimized to engage with various audiences across different platforms. So think of Sematic as being strategic conversion consultants to both websites and mobile apps. The fact that we work with over 5,000 brands across geographies goes on to show that it's an industry agnostic platform which can be used across both websites and mobile apps. And that brings me to something that has been a very commonly spoken of buzzword, not just at this event today, but it also features very highly in all the hype cycles and the reports of Gartner, Forrester, etc. The fact that the entire concept of personalization has gone on to become more than just a myth, more than just a buzzword. It's a real conversion catalyst and a game changer, especially for online businesses, especially in the e-commerce setting, right? For marketers today, we need to realize that personalization isn't just about addressing your user by his or her first name. Personalization isn't just about wishing your users on their birthdays or anniversaries. That's just restricted to your marketing campaigns. Personalization today is something that kicks off the moment a user lands on your website or launches your mobile app for the first time. And it's so critical to ensure that marketers and brands today can individualize the entire customer journey across digital touchpoints. Which is where it brings me to my first point, the fact that you need to get your data right, not just unified, but right. The fact that data today exists in multiple silos becomes a huge challenge for any business trying to combine these data, especially data that is available across both online and offline channels. So it becomes extremely critical for businesses today to figure out how they can unify this data across channels and across platforms and ensure that they get the most actionable insights from the same. So for starters, you need to mend your data coming through Google Tag Manager and the likes. Now, a GTM essentially allows you to manage and deploy marketing tags, and all this data actually flows back into your Google Analytics, which becomes your single source of truth, at least when it comes to your website analytics, right? Now, for any e-commerce business, it's also important to sort of merge user data with catalog data, because as an e-commerce business, you have a large number of products available. And it's important that you map this activity that users are attributed with to products within your entire catalog. I mentioned how it's important to merge both online and offline data. It becomes extremely critical because at the end of the day, you want to provide consistent and personalized customer experiences, which is where you need to merge and marry your online and offline data. And furthermore, this is not a one-stop or a one-time solution or a one-time activity. This is something that needs to be carried out in a cyclical manner. So data hygiene remains paramount to ensuring that this becomes your foundation for any creative campaigns that you run or any sort of personalization that you might want to drive across your website or mobile app. Secondly, for any e-commerce platform today, the very first thing that a user does the moment he or she lands on the website or launches the mobile app is actually put in a search request, right? Which is why you need to ensure that you value the search inputs coming in from your users, primarily because of two reasons. A search actually conveys a demand. It's a demand signal, and it's also a clear purchase intent. So once you capture this data, once you can ensure that you can personalize these search results, you actually put yourself in a far better position to provide the right recommendations moving forward. Now, in the example here, you can see that this lady who comes from Delhi, etc., is on an e-commerce platform and is overwhelmed by the number of products that are shown to her the moment she lands on the website, right? And it can be an extremely, overwhelming situation to be in. Now, she wants white t-shirts for women, which is where an e-commerce platform can then figure out, based on their search personalization, they can figure out what sort of recommendations to provide a user such as this, right? Now, the power of an AI engine driving personalization on a website or a mobile app when it comes to providing the relevant recommendations is the fact that it is real-time learning, right? Every single time this particular user comes and makes a search or clicks on a particular product or browses a particular category of items, the engine is learning intuitively. It's real-time learning and it's reinforced in nature. Now, thirdly, it's so important for e-commerce marketers to track digital footprints across various channels and platforms. Now, what does that mean? You need to ensure that every single click, every single purchase, every single item added to cart, every single item added to your wish list, essentially every single interaction that a user has with your website or mobile app, that a user has with your marketing campaigns across email, SMS, mobile push notifications, all of this is actually digitally captured. So all this becomes the foundation for something that we call behavioral personalization. Now at Sematic, our AI engine named Raman, after the great C.V. Raman and Ramanujan, can actually ensure that it predicts with a high degree of accuracy what is the probability of a particular user clicking or buying a particular product, right? So there are a various number of factors in the background that the AI engine takes into account all based on the historical and real-time interaction of a user with the platform. And based on that, the algorithmic model can actually predict what products a user might click on or buy. So with these insights, it can actually show the most likely products that a user is likely to buy right at the top, which means greater visibility, greater chances of a user adding that item to the cart or making a purchase. So once you have this predictive capability, it makes life so much simpler for an e-commerce marketer, because this can be done at a very individual level. It's not a segment, it's a segment of one. And this sort of personalization can actually be driven across various pages of the website itself. It could be on the product display page, it could be on the product listing page, it could also be an optimized recommendation widget on any part of the website. And that inadvertently results into solid increases in conversions and revenue to the tune of 35 to 40%. Which was something that we saw with one of our customers, Spencer Retail, where essentially on the product listing page, when a user was hovering over the main product image, there was an optimized widget that went up with the 3 most likely products that a user might buy. So not only did this provide users with a solid purchase decision-making conundrum at that time, but it also ensured that it opened up cross-selling and upselling opportunities for the brand itself. So essentially it resulted in a CTR of 4.75% and helped increase the ROI by almost 16x. And that brings me to my final point here. Now, we spoke about how you can personalize various aspects, various elements of your e-commerce website or mobile app. Why not take it a step further? Why not create a personalized boutique altogether? A personalized, specially curated store, a personalized catalog of products for every single individual user. That's an example of how powerful a personalization and a recommendation engine can work for an e-commerce platform. For example, we did something of this nature with one of our customers in Clovia, where essentially we ran a banner on the homepage that directed users to a very personalized boutique with items that they were most likely to purchase. Now, just setting up recommendations on the homepage might not work for e-commerce brands all the time, right? You want to maximize every single moment, every single micro moment that a user spends on your website or mobile app. And one solid way to make that happen is by creating this personalized boutique at a very individual customer level based on their historical and real-time behavior that they've displayed. So this essentially resulted in a solid conversion rate of almost 200%, right? That's the power of creating a completely specially curated, personalized digital boutique. And all of this does not take too much time. Essentially, we promise you a conversion rate uplift of anywhere between 8 to 13%. And all of this, as I mentioned, can be driven by providing better behavioral predictions and product purchase recommendations to the tune of almost 20%. And all it takes is 15 minutes to integrate, go live in 5 days, and start seeing an uplift in less than 5 weeks. And to make all of that happen, we actually have a special offer only for the audience here at this event, where we're offering a 5-week free trial. And I have my growth experts sitting outside who can help you kickstart this entire journey. But that's how simple it is. AI-based personalization works best for e-commerce brands that have a large number of products, but there is also different degrees of personalization for e-commerce brands that may not have a large product catalog, right? But the idea for any e-commerce marketer today is to ensure that you deliver the right message or the right content or the right recommendations to the right user at the right time and through the right channel. And personalization has to happen at every single digital touch point that a customer can be accessed at. And without further ado, I'm just going to leave you with something here. We've got a specially curated ebook for you guys here. All you need to do is go to the link and download the same. This is a very, very high quality ebook where essentially it walks you through every single thing that I just spoke about in far more detail, of course. And it'll definitely help you at least get your foundations right when it comes to kickstarting your personalization strategy for your e-commerce brand. I hope all of you got that. We are right outside. Please feel free to drop by our booth. Thank you so much for your time. You've been a wonderful audience.
Thank you, Pradyut. Sharp as usual. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we'd like to honor you with a memento. Yes. Thanks once again.
Thank you so much.